Good evening, everyone. My name is Sujwal Pratap Singh, and I'm working as information security analyst at CyberSRC, and also have experience in implementing various security standard and helping the organization to comply with the regulatory requirements. So today we'll be discussing on the SEBI cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework, and also we'll be highlighting some its key requirement, and we'll be talking about the compliance strategy and implementation challenges. So this webinar is designated to entities to strengthen their cybersecurity posture to meet the regulatory mandates effectively. Before moving further, I would like to introduce my organization. We are SARSI, a certain impaneled organization. We are globally recognized and award-winning organization operating since January 2018. Since then, we have transacted with the industry leaders by helping them to resolve their complex problem in the domain of cybersecurity, data governance protection, and IT audits. We have challenged bygone technological and business outlooks towards security domain, and our goal is to assist organizations globally to enhance their capabilities and effectiveness in cyber security defense. We are also ISO 27001 9000 certified organization backed with a various diverse team which have a combined experience more than 50 years under this belt. So let's discuss the agenda. So we'll be covering the introduction of CSCRF. In that, we'll be understanding its key objective and implementation uh, timelines, and also we'll talk about the history of SEBI CSCRF and its applicability, and also the categorization of. Then we'll talk about the key objective and its function, and also we'll talking about the implementation timeline prescribed by SEBI. Then we'll talk about implementation challenges where industries struggle, uh, that how to comply with the SEBI key requirements. And in the end of this session, we'll have a interactive QA session. I'll be happy to assist your queries. So without wasting any further time, let's start with the webinar. So let's start with the introduction. So SEBI Security Exchange Board of India and introduce framework, that is cyber security and cyber resilience framework, which was initially introduced in August 2024. So this framework is basically dedicated for ensuring that regulated entities have a security and maturity model uh, to ensure the cyber security and cyber resilience related aspects. This framework mandates a proactive and risk-based approach to cybersecurity and cyber resilience by stabilizing a robust governance structure for cybersecurity, by implementing a risk-based control aligned with the global best practices, by strengthening real-time threat monitoring and incident monitoring frameworks, by conducting vulnerability assessment and penetration testing for the critical infrastructure, and also by maintaining a business continuity and disaster recovery plan in case of any mishappening. So these were are the key areas where majorly SEBI focused on. So journey so far. We'll be talking about the evaluation history of SEBI CSCRF. Initially, these guidelines were issued for MIIs, that are market infrastructure institution, stock exchanges, depositories, and clearing corporation. And in 2018, SEBI extended cybersecurity requirement beyond MII, market infrastructure institution, to include stock brokers, mutual funds, asset management companies, and also depositories. Moving further forward in the time, in 2022, SEBI updated guideline to reinforce uh, proactive measures such as threat and intelligence, incident reporting, and VAPT requirement. And in August 2024, SEBI come up with a graded approach where SEBI introduced a risk-based classification of regulated entities by dividing them into five major categories. So we'll be talking about these five categories in the next slide of this webinar. So we'll be talking about the applicability of this framework. SEBI-CSCR follows a graded approach to ensure that cybersecurity requirements are aligned with the entity and their risk exposure. These classification um helps in streamlining the compliance efforts while ensuring that critical infra services are a highest level of protection. So, the categorization as follows. The first one is MIIs, Market Infrastructure Institution, which includes stock exchanges, clearing corporation, repositories. These all are the high category risk areas because of their vital role and in the market. Then we'll talk about the qualified REs, which is the second uh, in the queue. Qualified REs, which include large stockbrokers, mutual funds, custodian, and other significant entities. Entities with substantial market participation and the risk exposure. Third is mid-size REs. That includes mid-tier brokers, investing advisors, portfolio managers, subject to moderate cyber security controls aligned with risk profile. Next is small size REs. These includes small brokers, investment advisors, and portfolio managers. Basic security control with focused compliance requirements. And the last one is search certification REs. These self-certification REs are the entities with with minimal digital exposure and required to self-attest compliance with the fundamental security measures. So we have here entity-wise categorization and corresponding threshold that should be followed by the regulated entities. So here we have identified the entities based on that we have categorization, that is self-certification REs, small REs, mid-size REs, and qualified REs. For example, alternative investment funds (AIF), if they have less than 100 crores, they'll be categorized as self-certification regulated entity. If the AIF has around 100 crore and above or less than 500 crores, then they'll be categorized as small size. And if the entity has 500 crore and above but less than 1000 crores, then they'll be categorized as a mid-size REs. And for qualified REs, they need to be 1000 crore and above. So this is the categorization for the entity wise. So there are so many entities such as custodian, depository participants, merchant banks, mutual funds, portfolio management. There are different categorization and requirement to lie in the specific categorization. So now we have objective and functions for SEBI cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework. So SEBI CSCRF is built on a globally recognized standard and aligned with the cyber crisis management plan, which is prescribed or released by certain computer emergency response team of India, which defines a structured approach to countering cyber threats, ensuring financial market stability. So SEBI CSCRF mandate five cyber resilience plan. The first one is anticipate, which basically talks about identifying vulnerability, conducting risk assessment, and to predict cyber threats before they occur. Okay, and next is withstand, which basically ensures business continuity by maintaining security, redundancy, and resilience during the cyber attack. And third one is contain. Contain basically talks about minimizing the impact of any breach uh, by isolating that incident, and also by implementing the security controls such as access control. Next is recover. Recover basically talks about rapidly restoring the systems and operation using their defined incident response plan or framework, and to uh, recover uh, the key business impacts, the key business by activating their disaster recovery plans. Next is evolve. Evolves basically talk about continuously adopt security measure, improve policies, and integrate lessons from the previous incident to enhance their future preparedness and to make a database for to handle and develop a strategy that how to tackle with some kind of cyber attacks. So these were the key areas which is being prescribed in the SEBI CSCRF. Now I'll talk about the CSCRF functions and components. The framework indicates both cybersecurity and cyber resilience approaches, which includes governance measures, operation control, focus on anticipating, withstand, containing, recovering, and evolving in response to the cyber threats. These standardized methodologies refers to the standards such as 27001, CISV 8, NIST 853, BIS Financial Stability Institute. So the categorization are as follows: the governance, which basically talk about defining the organization context, and also to defining the key roles, responsibilities to the authorities who is participating in the complete IT security management. Next, we'll talk about the identifier, because if you don't know your key assets which can hamper your business, then you will not be able to implement security controls over them. So first we have to identify all the uh, important asset which are really critical. Then need to conduct a risk assessment, and based on that we implement the controls over them in the protect phase. In the protect phase, we implement controls such as access control, identity and access management solution, data security solutions such as encryption, endpoint security, and also to ensure the maintenance of the systems. Now talk about detect. Detect basically talks about continuously monitoring by implementing the SOC, that is Security Operations Center, or by implementing threat intelligence kind of control. Next is respond. Response basically talk about the regulated entities or the organization have incident management plan in place, and where they have identified all the applicable regulated entities and define the framework in line with the compliance requirement, that how they can convey the incident details to the regulated entities. Uh, then we have recover. Recover basically is the last function which majorly talks about recovering plan execution, and also focus on the post incident remediation steps to ensure the continuous improvement. Let's talk about the key objective of CSCRF. Basically, CSCRF is built on two primary approaches, that is cybersecurity, which include governance and operational control. Cyber resilience is that which talks about the continuity or which focus on anticipating withstand recovering from evolving uh, threats in and its key aspects include governance functions, CCI, regular audits, SOC monitoring, incident response, recovery plans, and also future readiness to ensure that the organization or regulatory entities have a security posture in alignment of cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework. Let's talk about the key requirement of CSCRF. Basically there are so many requirements, but these six requirements are at peak. The first one is SOC. SOC is the Security Operations Center. Every regulated entity uh, SEBI mandates that the regulated entity must have stabilized a security operation center for 24 into 7 monitoring and threat detection. SEBI has come up that the organization or regulatory entities can have their in-house market or global SOC. They can develop their own security operation team or implement the security operation center, or they can just outsource the team from any third party. Second requirement is SBOM. SBOM is software bill of materials. So SEBI mandates that all the regulated entity must have uh, a formal process in place uh, where they have all the software components, including open source, commercial, or proprietary elements recorded, which is being used in their information systems. So by practicing this, they can have a track on supply chain dependencies and their vulnerabilities, and also they can just enhance their software security and compliance. So let's talk about the third requirement, that is classification and localization. Cybersecurity cyber resilience framework mandates that all the data which is being generated or created should remain inside the Indian boundaries only. So there are two categories of data here, that is regulatory data, which is basically compliance related records, and the another one is IT related data, which includes system logs, configurations, incident reports, or threat intelligence, and also monitoring logs. The fourth requirement is VAPT after change or release. Cyber resilience framework mandates VAPT for after major release or significant changes to the system to ensure that system security and system integrity. Fifth is API security, that is application programmable interface. CSCRF mandates robust API and endpoint security to prevent unauthorized access and data breaches by implementing API security measure to ensure the rate limiting and throttling, to ensure that strong authentication and authorization procedure or controls are in place. Secure API gateway and encryption related controls are in place. The last one is threat intelligence and sharing. So this is one of the most important field in current scenario, because cyber threats are getting high day by day in the financial related entities. So SEBI come up a requirement for to stabilize a structure TI framework, which may include aspects such as detect, analyze, mitigate uh, the emerging security threats. So these the TI can include in-house or um, outsourced services, which include dark web monitoring for brand intelligence, customer protection, etc., and also may include uh, phishing, anti-rogue application services to mitigate potential phishing or impersonation or social engineering attacks. Next, we have CSCRF compliance, audit report submission, and timelines. So, SEBI comes up with the key requirement as the categorization they have stated in the framework. So there are the activities for the regulated entities, and also SEBI has prescribed the timelines there. The entities need to uh, submit the reports or complete the activity within the timeline. For example, cyber resilience third party assessment for MIIs, market institution, market infrastructure institution, they have to conduct or report these third party assessment at least half yearly. Let's have another example. The activity is named IT committee meeting, in which they can discuss the key aspect and the key challenges of implementation of CSCRF, the current audit status of the compliance of CSCRF. So these meetings shall be conducted quarterly for MIIs, qualified REs, and mid-sized REs. So, if we'll talk about the VAPT requirement, the MII shall conduct VAPT at least half yearly. The qualified REs must conduct VAPT half yearly. For rest mid-size and small size RE, they need to conduct VAPT annually. So this is how SEBI has defined the activities and their timelines to just complete those activities, and also come up with the requirement of submission of reports. For example, VAPT report, cyber audit report, ISO 27000 certificate. So these all are, you know, dependent based on the size of that regulated entities and the sector they are working on. So most important, we'll talk about key implementation challenge in SEBI CSCRF, because implementing SEBI CSCRF comes with the multiple challenges, especially for mid-size and small-size regulated entities. So let's break down the key obstacles that mid-size or small-size REs is facing in achieving the compliance with the SEBI CSCRF requirements. So the first thing is limited expertise and skilled workspace. What is going in the market, that mid-size and small size regulated entity lacks in-house cybersecurity expertise, which is leading them to shortage of cybersecurity uh, related control implementation because of the lack of understanding and knowledge. High compliance cost. Basically, small size RE may struggle to allocate budget for automation, and also to conduct the security assessment, like vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, and the major to implement the SOC, that is Security Operations Center. So investment in these kind of services and tools is humongous for a small size entities, and they are facing challenges in ensuring the compliance with the CSCRF requirements. Integration with the legacy system. Somewhere the regulated entities are following approach which is being followed from the last 10 years, and they are not transiting to the latest cybersecurity approaches, which are much efficient in terms of management of security controls and ensuring compliance with the various regulatory and customer requirements. The next is third party and vendor compliances issue. So vendors handling data process, cloud services, IT services, they also need to comply with the CSCRF requirement, because somewhere they are holding the regulated entities' data or managing their data. So their information system must be strengthened in compliance with cybersecurity and cyber resilience requirement. So here the lack of transparency and cybersecurity maturity among the third-party services provided, increasing risk for regulated entities. Next, implementation challenges, stringent real-time monitoring and reporting requirement. SEBI has mandated that proactive threat detection, logging, and reporting of incident within a defined SLA and TAT. So many regulated entities lack 24 into 7 SOC, that is Security Operations Center capabilities. So they are relying on reactive approach rather than proactive. So as per SEBI prospectus, the regulated entity must stabilize as SOC, that is Security Operations Center, to ensure that they have 24 into 7 monitoring mechanism there with where they can identify the cyber threats proactively and work on them to safeguard their data. Lack of clarity on an implementation guideline. What is happening? The industries, uh, the key personnel having lack of understanding regarding SEBI cybersecurity and cyber resilience requirement. So entities seek more clarity from SEBI on specific control audit methodologies, control expectations. Next is frequent security testing and audit mandates. SEBI has mandated that VAPT, source code review, pen testing exercises must be performed by the regulated entity and also define the timelines for conducting these activity as per the size of that regulated entities. And this challenge can be overwhelming for the organization because the periodicity that SEBI has set, they might be a challenge for a small size regulated entity to just conduct regular audits and managing the compliance with day-to-day business operation. Yeah. ISO certificate and audits. So this is basically mandatory for MIIs and qualified REs. They are required to obtain ISO certificate, that is 22 version, because the 22 version is the new one. And the certificate must be achieved within 1 year of assurance of the cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework. So the reporting authority for ISO certification and evidence submission would be for stockbrokers, depository participant who are categorized as a qualified REs must submit the data to stock exchanges and depositories. And for MIIs, market institution infrastructures, and qualified regulated entities must provide or share the data with the SEBI. We have one more mandate from SEBI in CSCRF, that is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So the reporting format for VAPT has already been shared by SEBI and prescribed in SEBI CSCRF annexure. You can refer that. Along with that VAPT report, SEBI regulated entity must also submit a declaration from their board, that is MD or CEO, which the details is also outlined in the SEBI CSCRF annexure. So SEBI has also mandated that reporting authority for VAPT report submission for stockbrokers and depository participant, they have to report uh, or submit the report to stock exchange and depositories. For MIIs and rest of the REs, they need to just submit the report to SEBI. Let's talk about the periodicity of VAPT activity for SEBI related entities. The regulated entities which have been identified as a protected system or CII by NCI IPC, they need to conduct a VAPT at least twice in a year. One VAPT activity shall be completed, including the activity including reporting, submission, and the closure of identified issued, and also the revalidation in each half of the financial year. You can do it either in April to September or October to March. And for apart from CII or protected system, rest of the regulated entities must conduct VAPT at least annually, and VAPT shall be commenced in the first quarter of financial year. So the timeline of VAPT activity for SEBI-rated entities are report submission of VAPT. That is, the timeline is VAPT report shall be submitted after approval from the respective IT committee within 1 month of completion of the VAPT activity. That the regulated entities must submit the VAPT report within the 1 month of completion of that activity. Next is closure of the findings which is being identified during the assessment VAPT. Uh, Within 3 years of submission of VAPT report, the organization need to close the identified issue. Revalidation of validity, VAPT. So the regulated entities must complete the revalidation testing, that is in the final testing, after the or within 5 months of completion of initial testing, that is the initial VAPT tracking and closure of VAPT findings. So we have aspects. The first one is regular monitoring. The IT committee of REs must track and review the closure of identified vulnerabilities and timeline for closure. All the vulnerabilities which is being identified in the VPT program must be remediated within the 3 months of the finalization of activity. Any open vulnerability beyond this period would require that IT committee approval, and the issue must be resolved before the next VPT cycle. And the regulatory entities must also ensure that they are logging all the identified vulnerability in the risk register to ensure that they are continuously tracking them. Also, the entities need to define the accountability or responsibility for managing and tracking the risk register in a timely manner. Revalidation and reporting. The VAPT revalidation report and any open observation must be presented before the IT committee for their confirmation and necessary directives. Also, the as a best practice, the regulatory entities should discuss all the observation which can hamper the business operations in the IT committee MRMs or the meetings to have a better insight and the suggestion from the management. Now I'll talk about one more mandate, that is cyber audits. So first we'll talk about the objective of conducting cyber audit. The main objective of conducting these audit to ensure that regulated entities are ensuring compliance with cybersecurity and cyber resilience requirements prescribed by SEBI, and the periodicity of conducting these audit are defined as for market infrastructure institution and qualified REs. They have to conduct these audit at least twice in a year, and also for mid-size and small-size REs whosoever is providing IBT or algorithmic trading facilities, they need to just conduct the VAPT twice in a year, and for rest of all the REs, they can conduct these activity at least once in a year. Now talk about the cyber audit report submission and observation closure. So cyber audit report submission date uh, uh, is 1 month of completion of this audit. The final cyber audit report shall be submitted after approval from the respective IT committee, and within 1 month of completion of the audit, these reports shall be submitted. Closure of uh, finding identified during cyber audit. Within 3 months of cyber audit report submission, the all the observed vulnerabilities should be addressed and closed. Follow-up audit. The follow-up audit shall be completed within 5 months of completion of cyber audit. Next is automation and dashboard development. MIIs and qualified REs should work proactively to implement an automated tool and maintain a dashboard where they can track the compliance status and the security maturity model of their organization in compliance with cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework. These dashboards should ideally be integrated with the log monitoring solutions such as SIEM or SOAR to ensure that they can have a view in the dashboard form so that they can track the vulnerability and check the compliance or the security status of the organization. The compliance dashboard must be accessible during the audits or inspection which is being conducted by SEBI or its appointed agencies. So cyber audit scope and coverage shall be 100% of critical system must be audited, and around 25% of non-critical systems should be covered in this audit, which and the system can be picked in a sample basis. Next is submission of cyber audit report. All the applicable regulated entity must submit the cyber audit report as per the norms outlined in Annexure B of Cybersecurity Cyber Resilience Framework. The auditor selection criteria and the Cybersecurity Cyber Resilience Framework compliance submission format are detailed in Annexure B. Along with the audit report, regulated entities must have a declaration from their board, that is MD, CEO, which is also is being prescribed in Annexure B. So they need to submit a declaration tracking and closure of the audit observation. The IT team or IT committee must ensure that they have defined the rules and responsibility for regularly tracking and monitoring of the audit findings, and they should ensure that any open observation beyond 3 months must receive IT committee approval and to be closed before the next audit cycle. Follow-up audits and any opening issue must be presented in front of IT committee for review and for the necessary action to be taken. Special consideration for self-certification REs. Self-certified REs are only required to conduct VAPT through a certain impaneled firms. No additional audits are required for self-certification REs. A self-declaration that is prescribed in Annexure P of CSCRF must be submitted, and the annexure or the declaration must be signed by MD, CEO, or director, any of the board member to confirm with the complies with the applicable CSCRF provisions. So, reporting authorities of cyber audit reporter for stockbroker depository participant, they need to submit the report to stock exchanges and depositories. For IASs, that is, they need to submit the report to BASL, and for MIIs and rest of the regulated entities, they need to submit the report to SEBI. So next, we'll be talking about one of the most important factor, which is trending in the market, that is market stock. Because the challenge here is many organizations are not able to implement their SOC. So there is one option for outsourcing a SOC as a service from third party. So its objective is to stabilize the markets up to monitor and ensure compliance with the SEBI CSCRF requirements. So market stock setup requirement is mandatory for NSE and BSE, and optional is for NSDL and CDSL. Reporting and compliances. Periodic reports on the functional efficiency of the market stock must be submitted to SEBI by NSE and BSE and NSDL and CDSL if it is applicable to them. Implementation of this Uh, Implementation timeline. The market shock must be fully operational from January 2025 onwards. So now we'll talk about the most important and the heart of this framework, that is CCI index. CCI is cybersecurity capability index. So CCI, we can say, is applicable to MIIs and qualified REs, which is calculated on certain parameter specified in this cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework. And the purpose of this CCI is to um ascertain that the cyber resilience capabilities are in place for market infrastructure institutions and qualified regulated entities. So, assessment requirement. So, MIIs must undergo a third party cyber resilience assessment for every 6 months. And for qualified REs, they just need to go with the self assessment at least annually. CCI index calculation methodology is basically defined on 23 key cybersecurity parameters which have a specific weightage. Evidence of implementation must be submitted to SEBI upon request. For MII, third-party auditor must verify all the implemented evidence during the assessments. Each CCI parameter has a predefined target weightage within the index of this framework. You can refer SEBI CSCRF framework to have a better understanding of the weightage. For example, there is a requirement that if the IT budget of is allocated 100 crore, then the 10% of that budget would be allocated to cybersecurity aspects. Now I'll talk about the important one of the important field, that is incident reporting, and it is also mandate from SEBI and certain. Let me introduce certain. Certain is Computer Emergency Response Team of India, which takes care of all the security related aspects. Both the regulated entities has came up with the reporting requirement of incidents. So within 6 hours of identification, the regulated entities need to notify SEBI and CERT via the reporting channel prescribed in their websites, or within 24 hours, the regulated entity need to report to SEBI incident reporting portal for all the cyber security related incidents. And within 25 hours, report of SEBI incident reporting portal shall be shared. And stockbrokers and DPs are also need to notify stock exchanges and depositories within 6 hours of identification of the incident. So here we have a post-incident timeline, reporting timelines. So here are some report types and the submission deadline. To each, the organization need to ensure that they are submitting the post-incident reporting within the prescribed timelines. Key investigation requirement are the regulated entities must conduct incident contamination and mitigation action. They need to communicate the incident details to the relevant stakeholders and also need to share the impact assessment report with them. The entities must conduct root cause analysis of the issues and also to maintain the remediation implementation roadmaps. And also they need to just conduct the forensic audits. These audits are mandatory for high and critical incidents. Next is regulatory process review. High and critical incident reviewed by HPSC, CS committee and SEBI. Low and medium incident shall be processed internally by SEBI. So now we'll talk about seven key implementation strategies for SEBI related entities to ensure the complete compliance with the SEBI CSCRF requirement. So step one, the regulated entities must stabilize a governance and accountability. If we talk about the governance means the regulated entity must define a IT committee and appoint a CISO, that is Chief Information Security Officer, to lead the cybersecurity initiative. The regulated entities need to create a cybersecurity governance committee, and the committee must have at least a single member of their senior management. Also, the regulated entities need to define the roles and responsibility for incident response, monitoring, and compliance. Also, the committee need to ensure that the committee is passed by the board itself, and the committee is responsible for managing all the security policies as per the uh, security alignment or the teams of the organization. The cybersecurity policies shall be approved by the board itself. So this was the first step. Now I'll talk about the second implementation step, that is identify and classify critical asset. So first you have to catalog all the asset and maintain a asset inventory. Based on that, you have to identify the data classification, um, and also categorize the asset as per their criticality value. Third step, deploy security controls. Once you identify all the critical asset, then you have to implement the security solution as per the requirement of that asset. For example, you if the asset required the MFA or strong authentication measures, or the asset would require the data security measures such as encryption, whether the asset requires firewall and IDS IPS kind of solution, whether the assets are need to be segregated in within the network infrastructure. So these security controls need to be implemented as per the applicability of these controls. Step 4, implementing and monitoring of incident responses. The regulated entities need to set up a dedicated market SOC or SOC team for monitoring and enabling real-time alerts for suspicious activity. They need to define protocol for identifying, containing, and recovering from incident. Also, they need to develop a threat intelligence program in collaboration with CERTIN and SEBI for threat updates. Step 5, they need to conduct trainings and awareness program to ensure that the key responsible persons are having great understanding of information security aspects, and they are aware of protecting their infrastructure from the rising threats. So for that, they need to conduct the regular employee phishing awareness simulation exercises. They need to just give them brief understanding that how they can identify the suspicious activity, how they can report the activity to the IT team, and how they can identify any incident. So now I'll talk about the step 6, perform regular audit and vulnerability assessment. The regulated entities must conduct VAPT for all the critical system to address all the findings in a timely manner. Also, they need to outsource vendor to ensure the SEBI CSCRF requirements. And once the VAPT has done, they need to provide the reports to the regulators as per the requirement of SEBI CSCRF. Then, in the seventh step, they need to adopt a continuous improvement cycle where they just need to review and track the security policies based on new threats and attack patterns, and to maintain the database for lesson learned from the previous incident to ensure they are not facing such incident again in their future. Perform a post-incident analysis to identify the key gaps and the implementation fixes. So this is how an organization can implement uh, security controls in alignment with SEBI CSCRF requirements. So here is a detailed annexure list, which includes a detailed set of annexure designated to provide further guidance on various aspects of cybersecurity and cyber resilience. These annexures are critical for understanding the framework full scope and ensuring the organization are comply with the standard requirements or framework requirements effectively. You can refer CBCSCRF annexure itself to have a better understanding. So now I'll talk about how cyber SRC can help you to ensure the full compliance with cyber security and cyber resilience requirements. So cyber SRC offers a pool of expert and experienced cybersecurity practitioners who are aware of challenges faced by the industry. The security expert will collaborate with the entities to implement strategy that are tailored to their organization structure and culture. They'll provide the structure, transparency, and guidance to the organization, which they are required globally for the data protection compliances and security compliances. At Cyber SRC, we work with the customers to develop programs that we support them to stay focused on the business goals and provide valuable insight to enhance their cyber security and privacy posture. So let's discuss about key offerings. So we are a certain empaneled organization. We provide a vast range of security services and products. ISO 27001 certification consultancy. We provide end-to-end ISO 27001 implementation consultancy. We have qualified lead auditors to help the organization to compliance with 27001 requirements, and we also help organization to transit from 2013 version to 2022 version to comply with the industry requirements. And also we offer VAPT, that is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing for application and IT infrastructure. And also we provide services for third party risk assessment, and also help customers by providing threat intelligence solution, which including dark web monitoring, anti-phishing, and anti-rogue. For more details, you can just refer to our website, and we can you can just go through our product that is SRC attack guard and many more. And also we help our organization to conduct root cause analysis for the incident, and also to develop frameworks for IT risk management for them, also to conduct cyber audit for various regulated entities, and also to ensure the compliance with the guidelines or framework prescribed by the audit regulators. Also, we perform and help the organization to conduct scenario-based testing, and to also provide phishing awareness campaigns, phishing stimulation exercise, and many more. So these were a brief of the key services we are offering to our customers to help them to comply with this SEBI requirements. So, meet our team. We are a qualified professional with a rich experience of multiple industries such as manufacturing, NBFCs, insurance, healthcare, NBFCs, and other. Our consultants and auditor are industries expert and have proven track record, and also we have certifications with our consultant holds such as CISA, CIPM, CISSP, COVID, CEH, CCNA, OSCP, ISO 9001, 27001, ITAL, many program management certification like PMP, to help our customers to comply with the various industry uh, security requirements. We believe in adding value to your business, which is enabled through our center of excellence, and we have end-to-end capability for program build operation transformation. We have been trusted by the companies around the world. We have served for Indian government, Navy, Army, and police, and also we worked for banking sector, NBFCs, power generation sector, and we helped our wide clients to comply with the industry regulatory requirement, and also to ensure that they are having a security posture to strengthen their ethics in terms of cyber security and cyber resilience. So I would like you to thank you for joining this session. Hope this session was insightful for you. If you require any support, or if you have any query, you can directly reach out to us, to the channels in front of your screen. Thank you so much.